The American TV network ABC has taken the late-night talk show host Jimmy Kimmel off-air indefinitely after comments he made about the death of the right-wing influencer Charlie Kirk.
Okay, picture this. Jimmy Kimmel is all set, ready to deliver another night of laughs like clockwork. And then, poof, he's gone, off the air, just like that. 1 second, studio lights are buzzing, audience is buzzing, and the next, silence.
Kimmel has no talent. They're next. They're going to be going. I hear they're going to be going.
The set is still glowing, the camera's still pointing, but the monologue? Nowhere to be found. It's like the whole show just hit a brick wall out of nowhere. Everyone's jaws hit the floor because apparently the entire thing came crashing down over something he said about the Charlie Kirk story.
Appears to be some of the sickest conduct pop.
Yep, that Charlie Kirk story. Here's the tea. Reports say ABC literally paused Jimmy Kimmel Live. And why? Because big-name local affiliates, led by Nexstar, basically said, nope, not airing this. All over one joke about Charlie Kirk headline. One comment, and suddenly the king of late night gets tossed off his throne.
New lows over the weekend, with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them, and doing everything they can to score political.
So here's how it spiraled. Once the stations refused, ABC slammed the brakes hard. Commentators even pointed out that broadcast TV is chained to local affiliates and licenses, meaning if one link shakes, the whole chain rattles. One tiny clip turns into a giant boardroom nightmare. And then the drama just exploded.
Calls for Kimmel to be fired. I think, you could certainly see a path forward for suspension.
People who showed up to watch the taping literally turned away at the door. Fans standing outside on Hollywood Boulevard were told, "Show's off," with zero warning. Everyone's like, wait, what? It didn't feel like Hollywood anymore. It felt like corporate breakup energy. You know, that awkward text from an ex, but in business speak. And then came the question echoing across the internet. Did this really happen just because of one sentence? The whole internet sure acted like it. Apparently, a podcast clip of an FCC official scolding the segment started trending that same afternoon. Like it was wildfire. By midnight, Truth Social users were doing victory laps. By sunrise, Kimmel's iconic marquee still lit up the street, but TV listings in some cities already swapped his show out for random movies. Imagine being the host and finding out your own slot's been replaced like a bad date. Broadcast late night isn't just about jokes, it's a fragile house of cards. One wrong move, and advertisers, affiliates, regulators, everyone starts tugging on the threads. And that's exactly what just happened here. People who were waiting in line outside even started posting emails that said "on hold" in bold. A crew member's friend commented, "We're waiting like the rest of you." That hits different, right? Like, even people working there had no clue what was happening. Even rival late-night hosts were carefully treading around it, defending free speech but not quoting Kimmel's exact words because, let's be real, no one wants to be next week's scandal thumbnail. And here's what really set the gossip mill spinning. Jimmy Kimmel went completely silent. Like, not just "oops, forgot to tweet" silent. We're talking no Instagram jokes, no cheeky one-liners, no wink on X, just radio silence. Fans posted pics of the empty ropes outside, confused security pacing around. One person wrote, "We were literally in line, then suddenly told to go home." No explanation. Weirdest night ever online? Absolute chaos. Within an hour, 2 hashtags went to war. Hashtag cancel Kimmel and hashtag stand with Kimmel. Total opposites, both loud, both convinced they were winning. Classic internet. It couldn't decide if he was finished or a freedom fighter, so it just screamed both at once. Memes? Oh, they flooded in. One viral one showed the ABC logo fading out like sitcom credits with the words "starring nobody." Another stitched Kimmel's joke with Judge Judy rolling her eyes. 500,000 views by midnight. But behind the memes, things were dark. Nexstar, which owns over 30 ABC stations, dropped the bomb. They said Kimmel's comments were offensive and insensitive, and they were yanking his show. Disney, ABC's parent, didn't even flinch. Variety reported they used the dreaded word indefinite. Fans joked, indefinite equals Netflix by next week. But insiders know that word means we'll decide later if you're worth the headache. Brutal. Advertisers didn't wait to see who won the hashtag war. Oh no. Screenshots leaked of brand managers emailing, "Pause spend until further notice." Translation: if there's smoke, we're not letting our logos catch fire. One ad agency exec even posted a cryptic LinkedIn update about brand safety recalibrations. Corporate code for "don't run ads next to Kimmel until the outrage cools off." And then the government angle hit. An FCC commissioner's podcast clip resurfaced where he suggested stations think twice about airing Kimmel. Legal experts on TV called it unusual. Fans online, they just said, "So the government's canceling jokes now?" One viral reply got 50,000 likes. Imagine losing your late-night job because a podcast clip went viral. Ouch. By the next morning, the mood was clear. Kimmel's show was in limbo. ABC was scrambling behind closed doors. Fans were divided, half swearing he'd be back by Monday, the rest convinced he'd never sit behind that desk again. And everyone agreed, this wasn't about just one joke anymore. It had turned into a full-blown saga. Hashtags, memes, legal jargon, corporate panic, and a silent comedian stuck in the middle. Okay, let's talk receipts, because this stopped being gossip the moment the paper trail showed up. First domino, next star. Wednesday night, they dropped an official statement saying Kimmel's comments were offensive and insensitive, and boom, pulled his show. Their words? For the foreseeable future. Translation? We don't know if we're bringing him back, and honestly, we might forget he exists. Second domino, ABC itself. Variety and Reuters both confirmed Disney decided to indefinitely preempt Kimmel. That word indefinite is basically the TV equivalent of we need a break. No timeline, no promises. Fans even spotted their local TV guides showing weather reports in his old slot. Imagine being replaced by the forecast. Third domino. The FCC Commissioner Brendan Carr said on a podcast that stations should consider preempting if there's a pattern of news distortion. Legal analysts called it bizarre. Free speech advocates called it chilling. Fans on X just called it wild. One viral post summed it up. Jimmy Kimmel suspended by Disney because of a podcast rant. That clip spread faster than the actual monologue. And the final bombshell. Late night TV isn't bulletproof anymore. Remember when late night hosts could roast presidents, celebrities, even themselves, and the show would just roll on? Not anymore. In 2025, one TikTok clip goes viral, sponsors panic, affiliates revolt, and suddenly a 20-year career gets paused overnight. Fans compared it to canceling David Letterman mid-feud with Jay Leno. Except now, it's not about ratings. It's about politics, licensing, and meme culture all crashing together like a car wreck. And this isn't even isolated. Colbert's show already got axed earlier this summer. NPR and PBS faced cuts. Now Kimmel. Fans are starting to see a pattern. Not bad luck, but a purge. One viral TikTok even showed dominoes falling with Kimmel's face on one tile, Colbert's on another, and Jon Stewart nervously watching from the end. It got 2 million views in a day. Savage. The truth? This isn't about one joke, it's about how fragile the whole system is. One segment and sponsors run, affiliates bail, regulators circle, and suddenly your whole empire collapses. Here's the breaking point. Nexstar publicly dropped his show from 30-plus stations. A BC followed with the killer word, indefinite. And then the FCC clip dropped, making it sound like late-night comedy was suddenly under government review. The memes were savage. One showed Kimmel's desk replaced by a folding chair captioned, indefinite seating. Another showed a 404 error screen saying, Jimmy Kimmel, live not found. Even people who don't watch late night suddenly had an opinion. To some, it looked like accountability. To others, it screamed censorship. Inside the industry, though, the panic was about money. Ad buyers started rerouting money to reruns of Shark Tank. Yep, dog washing pitches became a safer bet than Jimmy Kimmel. And culturally, this hit like an earthquake. Kimmel has built his image as the guy who gets political, especially poking Trump. And now the very system that gave him that platform just yanked the mic. Crew members posted photos of dark backstage halls with the caption, "We wait." Chills. Entertainment lawyers even said an indefinite suspension could trigger contract loopholes, travel cancellations, lost guest fees. This isn't just one guy on pause. It's an entire machine frozen mid-step. Short-term, ABC is testing replacements. Some affiliates are airing sitcom reruns. Some random movies, others local news. One night, fans tuned in expecting Jimmy's monologue and got a weather forecast. Brutal. If those replacements hold decent ratings, ABC might just decide they don't need Jimmy anymore. If ratings tank, the pressure flips, bring him back or lose viewers. Then there's Jimmy himself. His contract runs till 2026. Does Disney pay him millions to sit on the bench, cut him loose, quietly reboot the show with new guardrails? Fans are already fantasy casting his replacement. One viral poll had Ryan Seacrest, Tiffany Haddish, and sarcastically Kermit the Frog. Guess who won? Kermit. By a landslide. The internet, honestly. Bigger picture. Late night TV looks shaky. Colbert's gone. Kimmel's iced. Ratings are falling. Advertisers are fleeing. Political fights are non-stop. Commentators are asking if late night comedy is even worth the chaos anymore. When TikTok and podcasts are stealing the spotlight for free, fans are split. Some want Jimmy to pivot to Netflix or podcasting. Others say move to YouTube, where no one can preempt him. One trending comment said, if Kimmel can't tell jokes on ABC, he can just tell them on my For You page. Entertainment lawyers are saying that if Jimmy's contract gets broken or rewritten, it could spark lawsuits. Not just from him, but from sponsors, unions, even guest stars who had signed appearance deals. One lawyer explained on a podcast, this isn't just about canceling a show. It's about canceling millions in pre-booked commitments. Translation, if ABC messed up even slightly, Jimmy could walk away with a giant payout and possibly own part of the show's brand on his way out. And yet, through all of this, Jimmy's image looms like a ghost. This is the guy who made a career out of roasting celebrities, politicians, even himself. And now he's become a symbol of what happens when the system turns on you. Some fans are begging him to go rogue, start a podcast, launch a YouTube empire, live stream his monologues from his living room if he has to. Others are begging him to stay and fight, to take ABC to court, to go on air and spill everything. But Jimmy still hasn't said a word. That silence has turned into its own storyline. Every day he stays quiet, the speculation gets louder. Is he planning a comeback or planning revenge? One tabloid headline even screamed, "Is Jimmy plotting the ultimate mic drop?" At this point, if he walks back on stage even for 30 seconds, the internet would melt. And that's where we are now, hanging off a gossip cliff. A legendary host, a vanished show, a network in chaos, advertisers scattering, lawyers circling, fans divided, and one word echoing through the halls of ABC like a curse: indefinite. Nobody knows when or if Jimmy Kimmel will ever sit behind that desk again, but everyone's watching, refreshing their feeds, waiting for one post, one wink, one sarcastic grin that says, "I'm back." Because if he does return, it won't just be another episode. It'll be the comeback of the decade. And if he doesn't, well, then late night might have just lost its last rebel. Either way, this saga just rewrote the rules of television. And every other host out there, they're suddenly very, very nervous.